your hands and on your feet. You were under the blanket, I assume, correct?
Correct.
And you asked Mr. Stangeland if you could remove your shoe so that you could scratch your foot or something of that sort? And he said yes?
Yes.
And when you observed Mr. Stangeland, he was immediately in front of you in the driver's seat, and you were immediately behind him, correct?
Correct.
Were you able to watch him in the rearview mirror at all?
I could see his head.
Did he appear to be watching you in the rearview mirror?
I don't recall.
Were there times when he would turn around and face you or look at you or observe you? At some point, it starts to get light out.
Yeah.
And you have now made this decision that you're going to go out the door and try to get a car, grab a car. That was your thought process. I'll find a car with the keys in it and I'm going to go.
I'll just go.
When you got out of the car, was that the same door that you went out of that Mr. Swarns, the camo guy, had gotten out of?
Yes.
And how about the door that was next to you? Was that still child-proof locked?
Yes.
How did you know that the door on the passenger side rear would be unlocked or available to open?
Say that again?
How did you know that that door would be able to open?
I did.
So you took a shot, so to speak, and went for the door.
Which door?
The passenger side rear,
Yes.
the one that would have been to your right,
Yes.
and it opened.
Yes.
And at that point, Mr. Stangeland was in the car in the front, correct?
Yes.
And did he appear to be sleeping at that point?
Well, yes. When I made my move, yes, his head was down.
And did you hear him snoring?
Yeah. I did.
And when you got out of the car, you ran to the gas pumps, which would have been, I guess, sort of back toward the right rear of the vehicle.
Correct.
And there was a vehicle that was parked at the gas pumps.
Correct.
Could you describe what that vehicle was?
Looked like a Jeep SUV.
You know that because you recollected or you saw it on the video?
This is what I had in my mind. I have no idea what model or anything like that. It was like a Jeep type car.
And at that point, it
And
was...
I'm saying not a Jeep like a Wrangler or something like that, more like a Cherokee or something like that.
I understand. And at that point in time, you ran over there and opened up the passenger side door of the vehicle, correct?
Correct.
You didn't go around and try to get in the driver's
No, I
door. And did you see anyone there pumping gas at the time?
No, I was focused on getting in that car.
And when you saw that there were no keys in it, you made a determination that that wasn't going to be your alternative.
I said, I'm in trouble.
And the gentleman who struck you with the squeegee, could you tell me where he came from?
Came from the front of the car.
And at that point, were you already at the point where you had the front door open? On
I had the
vehicle?
front door open, looked in, no keys, and there, whoa. And all of a sudden, I'm getting hit.
Okay. Where were you struck? What part of your body was struck?
Well, I remember I just defended myself like this.
Did any of the squeegee blows ever strike your body?
Possible.
And did he say anything to you?
I don't know.
At that point in time, you said you saw the three individuals coming in your direction.
At that time, I believe the guy stopped, I turned around, there they were. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. And one of them was Mr. Stangeland.
Yes.
And you indicate that your recollection is that at some point in time, Mr. Stangeland was standing there and facing you, and you went in his direction and tackled him?
Yeah, I guess Wasn't a tackle, I just got my shoulder into him and lifted one leg up and he went down, I believe.
When you watch the video here today from outside in the parking lot, did you see that occur when you tackled him?
No.
You indicated to Mr. Muller that you believed that was where you were trying to get into the passenger door of the vehicle while the video was playing,
Yes.
correct? And then there was a time when you are pointed out to be in the back of the picture with another individual. There are two of you there. You said you believed that one of those individuals was you, correct?
Yeah, I think.
So if this tackle had occurred, would it have occurred between the time that you tried to get into the door of the vehicle and the time that you were seen standing on the video with the other individual?
That happened after I got to open the door, I was getting hit with a guy. After I turned around, that's when it happened.
And you're not mistaken about tackling Mr. Stangeland and him going down on the ground?
I felt that's what I did.
If it happened, it would be on the video, do you agree?
I don't know.
Where were you in relation to the white SUV when Mr. Stangeland was tackled that day?
Well, the car's going this way. Here I am on the passenger door. They were right about here.
Okay. And at some point in time, when you watched the video, were you able to identify Mr. Stangeland standing there behind the white SUV?
Well, I believe he was there on the other side of the pumps with another guy. Then I was running.
Okay. And at some point in time, there is one individual who is the larger of the whole group, who was shown on the video, correct?
Mhm.
And how many times have you seen the video of the outside parking lot?
Twice.
Okay. When you watched it today, you saw that individual walk around the pumps and head toward the location where you said the car was located, correct?
Yes.
And at that point in time, two individuals had hold of you,
I'm guessing so.
okay? Do you know who those two individuals were?
Who else would they be?
I don't know, I'm asking you,
Skinny dude and camel guy.
okay? And were they carrying you?
No, I don't recall.
Who was on your right and who was on your left?
I don't recall.
And prior to that occurring, you being carried toward the motor vehicle, toward the car.
They weren't carrying me, they were dragging me.
Dragging you, okay. Mr. Stangeland had made a comment after you had put him down on the ground, and the comment was what?
I thought, I'm at it, I'm done, I'm out of here, something like that.
And at the point when the two individuals have dragged you to the car, they're putting you back into the car?
Not the two, I felt there was three there.
I see. Do you know whether one of those three was actually Mr. Stangeland?
Had to.
I'm asking you, do you actually know that Mr. Stangeland was there at the car, putting you into the car?
Well, if camel guy was on one side of me, skinny dude was the other, he had to be trying to get my feet.
Could it have been the other individual who owned the white SUV who had struck you with the squeegee earlier?
Definitely not.
Okay. You saw him in the picture, he was on the picture there at that location, correct? So after Mr. Stangeland said, I'm done with this or finished with this, you still say that he assisted them in putting you into the car?
I do.
Were you ever told who it was that was coming to meet them at the convenience store?
No.
Were you ever told how many individuals might have been coming there?
No.
Were you ever told that along the way on the trip somewhere else other than the convenience store, a meeting was scheduled and you were supposed to meet with some other individuals?
No.
Were you ever told that when you got to Quebec, you were going to meet with these other individuals?
No.
what occurred after you were put in the car by the three individuals that you described? With regard to those three individuals, what did they do at that point?
I don't know.
Was the door still open on the car that you had been placed into?
I can't say.
Do you have a recollection that you had to reopen the door to get out and run into the convenience store?
I think I do.
Is that what happened?
Can't say.
Okay. When you went into the convenience store, you ran in there and then you encountered Mr. Marsh at the counter and the cashier, which is shown on the video.
Yeah.
Did you pass the three individuals at some point in time
No.
while you were going into the store?
No.
Where were they, if you know?
Don't know.
Did you see any of them in the store at any time?
No.
Did you see Mr. Stangeland return to the store at some point in time and speak to any of the individuals in the store after you had gone in there?
No.
Are you sure about the details of your being taken, as you referred to, dragged across the lot, as to who was where when that occurred?
Say that again?
Are you sure about the details when you were being dragged across the parking lot to be put in the car as to who was there? You knew
I
it was...
can't be 100% sure, but I'm sure three of them were there.
Would you be 100% sure that Mr. Stangeland was not one of the three that was actually dragging you across the parking lot?
Say that again?
Would you be absolutely sure that it was not Mr. Stangeland who was one of the three, but was dragging you across the parking lot?
Oh, I'm not sure.
You said, I thought in your testimony, that it was the skinny guy and the camo guy.
They're dragging me, yes, to the car. Then I felt there was three of them there, forcing me back in that car.
So would I be correct that it was not Mr. Stangeland who would have been under an arm on either side of you as you were being dragged across the lot?
I don't feel it was him, possibly it wasn't him.
You said that when you got into the car at that point in time, you went in on all fours and you were, I guess, face down at that point,
I was on my hands and knees
and in the back of the car.
in the back of the car.
And I think your testimony was nobody got into the car at that point in time, and it was a matter of seconds before you jumped out and ran into the store.
Correct.
Could we play for the witness the video of the outside of the convenience store?
S64.
I'm going to ask you to watch the video of what took place in the parking lot. Now, that's the SUV, am I correct?
Looks like it, yep.
And that, you believe that's you getting in the passenger door, attempting to?
Yes.
Okay. Could you stop it there, please? Could we back it up just a little bit? Okay, at that point, could you tell me which one of those individuals would be you?
I can't tell you.
Okay. Go ahead, what's wrong with the vote? Okay, at that point, stop there. Could you tell me which one of the individuals might be you there?
No, I can't say.
Okay. Could you tell which one of them might be Mr. Stangeland?
Can't say.
Okay.
I can't, no, I can't tell.
Could you tell which one of them might have been the man who struck you with the squeegee, if in fact he is in that picture?
Don't know.
Okay. Could you roll, please? Okay. Could you stop there, please? Could you tell me at that point in time, which one of the two individuals in the background would be you, if in fact it is you?
Well, I can't tell who's who.
Okay. Do you have a recollection that one of those two individuals in the background, however, is you?
Yeah,
Okay. And do you have a recollection of which one of the three individuals you had described would have been with you at the time?
in that picture there,
Yes.
I'm gonna guess camel gun.
Okay. Do you see Mr. Stangeland in that picture?
I can't say who's who.
Okay. Having watched that segment of the picture up to that point, from the time you attempt to get into the white door, do you recollect seeing an incident wherein you pushed Mr. Stangeland to the ground?
Say that again?
From the time that you were over at the door of the white SUV, trying to open the door, to the point that you're at now on the picture, could you tell me where on the video you may have seen Mr. Stangeland go down on the ground when you
I'm gonna
tapped?
say it's more to the right out of the picture.
I see. So your bumping into Mr. Stangeland and knocking him down would have occurred after you were dragged back to the car or before?
Before.
Okay. Would it have been before you're in the position that you were in the parking lot right now in this video?
I'm assuming so.
Can we go back to the beginning and play it again? Could you watch this closely and tell me, if you could tell me where you see that occur?
You don't.
Can you stop it there, please? Okay, so it's not in this picture, correct? Would I be correct that it didn't happen between the time you were able to jump out of the car and run to the white SUV and open the door?
No, it didn't happen at that time.
Because Mr. Stangeland was still in the vehicle, correct? And one of the individuals in the picture is much larger in size and height than the other individuals. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Now, could you run that? Watching it now, at that point, you and the other individual believed to be Camo Guy are headed toward, just stop there? Okay. Headed toward the car, am I correct?
Yes.
Appears that there are two individuals with you, is that correct?
Yes.
Is that when you would have been saying you were being dragged to the car?
That's what's been here. I don't know, I was dragged, fighting, trying to run away.
And at that point in time, you do not identify the larger of the people as being Mr. Stangeland to the rear of the white SUV.
In that picture, you can.
Okay. And you continue. And at that point, it goes off the camera, right?
Right.
Could you stop there, please? Okay. Maybe I stopped a little too soon. The individual, the larger stature person, appears to have then walked around the gas pump in the direction that you were dragged, am I correct?
Yes.
And everyone disappears, correct? Could you stop a second? There's an individual standing by the SUV there, correct?
By that pole,
Yes.
appears to be.
Okay, so you appear to have like a stocking cap on?
It's a blur. It's white block.
Okay. What about, I'm gonna point for something here. What about right here, sir? Does that appear to be a person?
Can't tell.
Okay, could we back it up a little bit? You see a person walking behind the pumps?
Yeah.
Okay, two people?
Start again.
Okay. Did you see two people there walking behind the pumps?
I only see one guy going behind the pump.
Okay, could you back that up again, please? Okay, see two people there?
Two people there.
Okay. Do you see one or two people behind the pumps?
I see the one guy go in front of that little stand or whatever it is, the pump.
Right?
I see that guy there going behind the pump. And then somebody there, but he's still sitting there.
Okay.
And two people go behind him.
Right. Okay. That's your recollection of what, at
Well,
least
that's
is
what
on
the
the
picture
video?
shows.
Right.
I mean, I don't remember too much after I'm getting dragged.
Okay. Now, at the point after you have gone into the store, at that point, you encounter Mr. Marsh, am I correct?
After I got out of the car the second time, when the
Yes.
first time I went in the store, I only come in the store.
And there
First
were,
time, I'm sorry, the first time I went in the store, you said?
Only one time I went in the store,
Mr. Marsh was the gentleman who was shown on the video at the counter to your right-hand side, correct?
When I came around that corner, he was standing there in front.
You didn't know him before that occasion,
No.
correct? And at that point in time, you didn't know whether he was a law enforcement officer or not, am I correct?
No.
At some point in time, he identified himself as a law enforcement officer?
No, I believe, if I remember right, I asked him, do you have a gun? And he says, I'm an officer.
I see.
Like that.
he
And I
never
said, yeah, I
answered?
do ask, I said, I might have asked him, do you have a gun? He didn't answer.
Correct. And did Mr. Marsh ever render any medical attention to you?
No.
Did any of the police officers who initially responded to the scene offer you medical attention?
No.
There was another individual shown on the video who was wearing kind of a reflective jacket. And, do you recollect whether he gave you any attention?
Can't recall. Don't know. Don't know.
When you were on the ground at the convenience store by the counter, Mr. Marsh was there with you. Do you recollect that you were having a problem with your asthma at that point?
I was out of breath, I was out of breath.
Do you remember asking if you could move onto your side to a different position?
Don't know.
Do you recall that when the police officers initially arrived, that they remained outside for a period of time before they came into the store where you were?
It seemed like a period of time went by when they said, when I asked where the police, they said the police were here. It seemed to me a period of time went by before they came.
And when they came in, you had conversation with them and told them your name and your social security number?
Told them my name.
I believe you testified
Well,
on
I
your
told
social
them my
security.
name, my age, and my social security number. I told them right away that they had my wife, and I was kidnapped.
Kidnapped from New Jersey, as you said, right. And at that point in time, the officers continued to ask you questions? Okay. At some point, you are given attention by, I guess, EMTs or an ambulance squad, and they determined to take you to the hospital, correct?
Yes.
When you go to the hospital, do you know what hospital you're taken to? You said you don't know how far it was from the convenience store.
Don't recall.
At that point in time, were you given any treatment in the ambulance?
Yeah, they gave me oxygen, and I believe they gave me a lung treatment.
Along what?
Lung treatment, steroid.
I
That's
see.
what I probably asked for, because I knew that's what I needed.
Are we going to continue, Judge, until we finish the witness, or?
No, not necessary, unless, well, why don't you come on up?
One second.
for lunch, and we'll resume at 1:30 or as close there to as we can.